Go love your own enemies. Don't be loving mine. My enemies are the theocratic fascists. I don't love them. I want to destroy them.
You're a child made in the image of God. Oh no, you're not. You're a faggot. And you can't join your church and you can't go to heaven. This is disgraceful. It's inhuman.
I'm thinking about a movie that I really, really like. It's one of those movies where if I'm having a really crappy day, like I am today, for instance, I like to put it on and watch it because it makes me feel really good. It's called Mall Flanders, and I just like it. It's about a woman who has to go through a lot of really bad stuff. And one of the things that she ends up having to go through is being part of a prostitution ring. And she's a prostitute. She's thinking this is a way for her to finally maybe get away from the situation she's in. And they sell her when she decides she's going to go for it. And that's my phone. It decided to make itself known right at that moment. When did she little sound effect, when she decided to go for it, and have her virginity up for sale. I mean, these men were wanting to pay big money just because it would be her first time, you know, be like, ooh, the pure untainted woman. It's so funny, this perception that women who haven't had sex, it's like men want little girls. And I'm not talking about all men, but funny thing, it seems to be a consistent thing with religious men. They want pure, chaste women. They want as close to little girl as they can get. Well, if she can't really be a little girl, then we want her to be physically as little girl as we can get. And this whole need to be little, I mean, it's just there. It's always been there. When I was growing up, it was there. Oh no, I'm getting too tall. I'm too tall. No man wants a tall woman. Everybody wants a little vulnerable, you know, girl that he can feel protective over. Oh, it's okay, dear. Let me help you. You poor fragile thing. I'm sorry. It's insulting, this perception. And one of the things that I despise the most about Islam is it tries everything imaginable to keep women as dependents on men. It marries off little girls to old perverts who apparently, I think there's a reason for that. I think it's all about getting a baby out of the child as soon as possible because they want to produce as many Muslim babies as possible to populate the world, breed the cult into dominance, literally. So let's get those little children pregnant. Don't let them have a childhood. Heaven forbid that they should get to enjoy this precious time in their life called childhood. No. Let's take them away from their little jacks and their whatever hopscotch game and make them brides to old perverts who, you know, I'm sorry, it's disgusting. That and polygamy, Islam. Oh yeah, let's have as many women as possible. Women can't have more than one husband. Funny thing, but men can have 3, 4 brides, and that's perfectly okay. Yeah. And this isn't a man-made cult. You know, it's funny how so much of these cults benefit men and promote the best interests of men. It's all about men getting whatever the fuck they want, and if it, you know, they'll write it into the religion. Oh, it's okay because God says so right here in this passage that women should da-da-da-da-da. There's something in, I don't know if it's the Quran or if it was the Hadith, whatever I read, that a woman should continuously keep herself clean, just in case her husband gets in the mood and needs to have sex with her. She needs to keep herself clean. And I'm pretty sure that we're talking about her between the legs area. Yeah, like that's all she is. Gotta keep yourself clean, ladies, because he just might want to have sex. And if you got 4 wives, that's 4 women that are enslaved to this rule that they have to be constantly keeping themselves clean for Mr. Stud, for whenever he gets hard. Christianity's just as bad. It's totally okay for men to have sexual conquest when they're young, go out there and sow their wild oats and, you know, practice and experiment and try out all these different women so they have a better idea. First of all, it gets it out of their system, right? Maybe they have a better idea when they're older what kind of woman they want. But, you know, whatever. It's boys being boys. But a woman needs to keep herself pure. No sexual conquest, no sexual experience. Her husband should be the first one to touch her. Otherwise, her value is just not, goes down. This is like Bronze Age mentality and still alive and well in the world. Let's keep them little girls. You know, it's funny. I hear women, some women who sneeze and they sneeze. They go, achoo! It's a little girly sneeze. Or grown adult women who have little girl voices. Ever hear a woman, you know, you see this woman and she opens her mouth and her voice is like, hi, and you just want to take your fingers and down a chalkboard because it just sounds so wrong. But that's what women are raised to think, that they need to be little girls. That's what the ideal woman is. She's little, she's vulnerable, she doesn't know anything, she needs a man to open the door, she needs a man to fix her car. Heaven forbid she should get a flat tire, and she should be, you know, the little girl voice, the little weak, frail creature perception. It's sad when it's a young woman, but when you find somebody as old as me who still has that little girl voice. I never had it. I've always talked lower. I just never had that. I was a tomboy. I never had that. And I'm glad I never had it. So it's perfectly acceptable for the man to groan like an animal and whatever the fuck, sweat profusely. He probably doesn't even need to keep himself clean. Who cares what diseases he puts inside the woman? It's only the woman that needs to be clean. He can be on top of her. He can be groaning and moaning and sweating and perspiring, which is the same thing. Whatever. He can, you know, who cares? Whatever. He's the man. Yeah. It's okay because he's the man. And the woman, she should not act even remotely like a living creature. A living, feeling creature with needs of her own. No, heaven forbid she should even remotely come across that way. She should not. Women, you really don't exist, okay? When the man wants sex, you just don't get to exist. You become a tool, an object, his property. These are the little do's and the little don'ts. Did you know that there's a bunch of rules that only apply to you, not to men, only you? Isn't it funny about these man-made religions, how they constantly apply rules on women? Not men. No, it's perfectly okay for men to do whatever the fuck they want to. But women, hey, you know, girls. people who look at Christianity and Islam and do not see the fact that this is a man-made, these are man-made belief systems, floor me. It's like, how blind are you? The double standards, and the men always benefit from these cults. Everything is written about, you know, for the special interests and the special needs of men. There's something else that I read too, and in fact, if you hang on, I'm going to go find it and share it. So I'll be right back. Okay, I saw this little thing. It had to do with 1 Timothy 2 through 15. Basically, it's a verse in the Bible. It says that women are saved through childbearing. And what I did was, this was a reply that I made to somebody who was trying to justify this verse. And I made a lot of comments. I'm basically quoting from the page that is basically describing this verse. I'm quoting from the page and I'm adding my comments throughout. So, it says, according to St. Paul, women are not allowed, and I put in parentheses, sexism, to be public teachers in the church, for teaching is an office of authority, parentheses, and apparently women should not have authority. But good women may and ought to teach their children, parentheses. Oh gee, how very generous of you to let women at least teach children at home the principles of true religion. Also women, parentheses, but not men, question mark, must not think themselves excused, parentheses. Oh, don't worry, I don't. From learning what is necessary to salvation, parentheses, salvation from what? Your evil God? Though they must not usurp authority, parentheses, whose authority? Men's? As woman was last created, parentheses. Actually, no, she was not. The original woman was created at the same time and from the dust, just as Adam was. Funny how the cult rewrote this so they can use this as an excuse to subjugate women in the creation, which is one reason for her subjugation, parentheses, just like I said. So she was first in the transgression, parentheses. Actually, God set that whole thing up to happen. But there is a word of comfort, parentheses. Oh, gee, I cannot wait. That those who continue in sobriety shall be saved in childbearing or with childbearing by the Messiah who was born of a woman, parentheses. Actually, the original Jesus was not born at all, but was a spirit being only. And the special sorrow to which the female sex, parentheses, fuck this cult, is subject should cause men to exercise their authority, parentheses. Naturally, the men have authority when it is a man-made cult with much gentleness, tenderness, and affection, parentheses, urge to vomit. I'm sorry, I had to put that in here because this is just more of what I'm saying. Let us put chains on women. That's what these cults do. Men have the authority, according to your little book. According to the men who wrote your little book and then said, ooh, we were inspired. By God, you have to obey this. And you know what happens to women who don't obey this? Well, in the olden days, really bad things happened. Now we fast forward 2,000 years and you've got women walking around talking like little girls when they're 50 years old. Thinking they have to be, oh, everything's about pleasing the man. oh my God, I'm too fat. The man might not appreciate me. I'm getting old. I'm starting to look old. Oh no. Men can age. It's okay. But women, ever notice that women in the limelight, famous women, newscasters or actresses or whatever, they get old, they get ridiculed. They get criticized. Oh my God, did you see so-and-so? Oh man. Women don't even get to age. It's not allowed. They're not allowed to age. It's like it's a crime for women to age. Oh my gosh. Because it's all about, you gotta stay young and little and cute and pretty. And heaven forbid you don't fit into any of those categories. Then you're just garbage. How many times have I been, I'll be in the middle of having a conversation with somebody and they resort to personal attacks because, oh God, you're so ugly. Like suddenly I have no value because I don't measure up to your standards of what a woman is supposed to look like. So that means I have no value apparently. I have no value. I'm old. I'm overweight. I'm ugly. Forget her. It all comes down to these religions. The mentality toward women, even among secular people, it's all been created by these religions that have tried very successfully to put women in these little boxes. Women were put on the earth to please men. Men control women. Women submit. Men, you have the final authority. And it's in these religions. These religions put chains on women. These cults. And anybody who can look at these cults and not see it, I'm talking about women. It just floors me that women support these things, these cults, and actually go along with it. Oh, a girl shouldn't play football. It's just not feminine. It's just awful to see girls playing men's sports. It's just so not feminine. Who came up with that rule? Who came up with the rule that men are more competitive than women? Really? Maybe something was oppressed in women for a really long time, but in even my lifetime, I have seen the competitive edge growing, the sense of that in girls growing so much more acute. I don't know if that's the right word. It's in women too. And the more women get to express that, the more they feel it. Women, newsflash, are human beings. We think, we feel, and when sex is good, we want to enjoy it and not have it called a perversion or a sin. Heaven forbid that we should enjoy our bodies just the same as men do. Heaven forbid that we should enjoy sex, which, by the way, actually does have health benefits to it. End of rant. I'm angry. I've had a really bad week. And I just felt like I felt like expressing myself, let's just say. I hate religion. I hate this mentality. This is the kind of thing that, when Hitch says religion poisons everything, this is just one example. There's a sound effect. Yes! That one wasn't as good, though. This is just an example of so many examples of why religion poisons everything. Imagine what the roles of women and men would be if these cults never existed. If there was never some rule book that said, women need to dress this way. And men don't, men need... What if those rules never existed? What would the world be like today? Anyway, I don't want to keep repeating myself. If you've been watching, thanks. Bye!